Super bien, Roberto. Exactamente. You nailed it, buddy.
You are now joining the club of filmmakers who get their short film expanded to feature length. How does that feel for you?
I mean, it feels so great. I mean, I when I made this film, you know, David Sandberg with Lights Out, that had just happened. So I feel like there was a lot of people that were trying to have their short films turned into features. And, you know, looking back, not all of those happen. Or sometimes, like with me, it takes a long time. It took about 10 years for me to go from a short to a feature. So I guess I'd just say to anyone trying to do that, make your short film and then make another one. And then make another one, and then make another one, and then make another one. Because sometimes that's what it takes. And the more things you put out in the world, the more momentum you're gonna create, and the more chances you have of one of those becoming Night Swim, you know?
Jason Blum was here in Mexico for a master class, and he said that in order for any horror film to work, it has to have at its core a great dramatic element. What led you to the choice of having this dramatic element in the film?
Yeah, I knew that was the question. Like after making the short film, I just knew I didn't want to make the feature if there wasn't a real story and there wasn't a real characters behind that. So for me, it was kind of like, you know, if the pool is this kind of wishing well and it's a symbol of like our dreams that we want to fulfill, then like who is the character that had the most to gain from that? I knew it had to be characters that had something to really, really gain. It couldn't just be like a normal privileged family that moves into a house because they have the money. It's like, no, this is a family that's kind of struggling a little bit. They're going through some really hard stuff, and the pool seems to be like salvation.
I find the film to have this very amazing 80s vibe, you know, from films like Piranha, you know, Jaws, this kind of open spaces where there is water, and there's a particular scene in the film where it seems to emulate that which is the pool party. You know, instead of being on the beach, everyone's just in the house. And what led you to the choice of, instead of having an open space like a beach, what led you to the choice of making it in a very confined space like a house?
Super bien, Roberto. Exactamente.
Yeah.
You nailed it, buddy. You nailed it. That was the exact reference. No one else has caught that yet. So they would literally beat for beat. It's a reconstruction of the Sheriff Brody on the beach in Jaws, and even down to the misdirective, like the scream in the water, and then you see someone pop up. It's like, oh, just kids playing, but she's all freaked out. It just was trying to do for the pool what Jaws did for the ocean, and the way that Jaws affected me as a kid. There's a few Jaws references, and yeah, Poltergeist, as you mentioned, the A's films looms large, Amityville Horror, Burnt Offerings, The Abyss. I mean, there's all these things that just the titled vibe, like the kind of analog floating titles, has a very like Stephen King book jacket cover. Like I wanted to really reference the nostalgia of these films that we probably grew up watching and loving. So man, I love that you picked up on that, because that was very intentional to draw that comparison. Muchas gracias por todo y espero que disfrutas la película de Aguas siniestras.